Good morning. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining and the temperature, it's perfect. I love it. Does your happiness depend on something other than Christ? What will heaven be for you? I'll talk about that in just a second. You know, sometimes I really and truly worry about people that are in my life that I love, that are doing things or living in such a way that I'm concerned for their eternal soul. Now, I am not the judge. I am called to love. I am called to care for, show respect, and be kind, and point people toward Jesus. That's what I'm called to do. So this is not a video about judgment or the judging of anyone. But my point is if you're a Christian, I'm sure you've encountered people that you truly care about, that you love, whether it's a friend or a family member, a husband, a wife, a son or a daughter, or whatever it might be, that you're worried that you just don't know what their status with God and with Christ truly is. And sometimes we can fall into a pit of despair and concern. I know that I've spent nights worried and heartbroken because I was concerned about people that I love that I worry might not make it to heaven. Now, again, I'm not the judge here. I'm not the one who knows everything and the circumstances. I don't know how everything works, and I don't claim to. But I know what Jesus tells me and what his word says. And I look sometimes at what some people do and how they live, and even at my own self sometimes. But we have to look outward because we're living in this life. And we should be concerned for the souls of others. But the point I'm trying to make is when we see people living in a way that we think, oh man, I hope they're saved. Gosh, what if something happened to them? What would I do? When I go to heaven, if they're not there, how is heaven going to be heaven for me? And I really struggled with that question. If I go to heaven and people that I care about are not there, how would heaven be heaven? That's a fair enough question, but then you have to think about what heaven truly is. Heaven is there for us to spend eternity in the presence of God and of Jesus, and he is who matters. And it is he alone that will make heaven heaven. I won't make heaven for my wife, and my wife won't make heaven for me, and my children won't make heaven for me, and my parents won't make heaven for me. They'll just be bonuses and additions. What truly makes heaven heaven is Jesus. And that's what we should really be concerned with. And so instead of fretting and carrying on and worrying about how our experience of heaven shall be, we should celebrate the fact that because we know Christ and because he loves us and he has saved us, that we will spend eternity in contentment, joy, bliss, because we will be in the presence of God Almighty, our Creator, the one we truly should seek to fellowship with. If we hold people in such high esteem that we think if they're not in heaven, how will heaven be heaven? It gets very close, if not actually becomes a form of idolatry where we think more of the people that we love than we do Christ. We put them ahead of him. And that's hard to hear because I love my family. And when you think about the way we should act and the way we should hold Christ in reverence, and he is above all, it's Jesus, others, and then yourself, it really starts to make sense. It really clicked with me the other day. I heard someone talking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to spend my life fretting over who might or might not make it because it will ruin my experience of heaven, because that's just not the case. My experience in heaven is based on my relationship with Jesus Christ. He will make heaven. Nothing else makes heaven but the presence of God. And we sometimes get off track. Now, this is not to say that we shouldn't concern ourselves and be intensely worried and absolutely concerning ourselves with those that are lost. And when I say worry, I don't mean in a sinful way. I just mean I am concerned for your soul way. But ultimately, it is God that calls people to him. We merely point the way. We give the message. We show the truth. And we all have that right to choose because God gave it to us. I hope you choose correctly. And I hope that you can look forward to heaven, no matter what this life might be throwing in your path. One day, you will be in the presence of God. And that will be enough. Have a great day. Be kind to each other. See you next time.